Well, I like to say you get from the Bible what you bring to the Bible. If you're looking for hate,
You can find
you can
it.
find it. If you
And
want
there
an
are a lot of
angry
people
God,
doing
you
that.
can find an angry God. But if you bring love to it, you'll see it.
Hi, this is Lynn Widmeyer here in Jefferson County, West Virginia, and with me today is Randy Tremba, who for 42 years was pastor at the Shepherdstown Presbyterian Church here in Shepherdstown. I find it very interesting that Randy was raised in a house that was very fundamentalist in their views about the Bible. And he has changed his views over time towards the Bible and written a book about his transformation and his views.
Bible Reexamined, right?
The Bible Reexamined. And in this book, Randy presents the thesis that the Bible really is depicting a kind and generous and loving God, and it's not so much filled with the fire and brimstone.
Well, you got both.
You got both.
You got a choice.
Tell us about this book and
Yeah.
how you arrived at your interpretation.
Right. Well, the subtitle's fairly important. It says Eve is a hero, Mary is not a virgin, and Jesus is not the way.
Now, if that doesn't make you want to go out and buy this book
Yeah.
right now, I don't know what does.
I try to make the case from the Bible to support those claims that Eve is a hero, not a villain, despite what the tradition has always presented to her as the cause of original sin. And I say, no, she is a hero.
Your depiction of or your interpretation of Eve is sort of central to your theme of looking at these Bible stories differently. So take a minute to tell us about your thoughts on Eve.
Yeah. Well, this is a folk tale. First of all, you got to get that in your head. It's not exposition. It's not history. It's not biography. It's a folk tale, very, very, very old. And the ancient Jewish people, like all ancient peoples, were oral people. They didn't write things down. They told these stories to explain things. The church fathers came along and saw that as a defiance of God and therefore sin. But you can look at that and say, it's not a sin, it's humanity through Eve reaching for knowledge to be different than all the other animals. So we're the human animal.
You go, Eve.
But what makes me different is her curiosity and her courage to defy even God, which represents patriarchy. So she, I think, is a hero for humanity in the sense that we resist and we're willing to defy authority to learn and become better human beings.
Now, as we talked about, you were raised in a very fundamentalist family.
Yeah.
How did you tell us about your path from that, being raised in that type of family, to the wonderful story you just told us, which was a reinterpretation of
Yeah,
Eve?
well, my parents were fundamentalists, and fundamentalists hold the Bible central as the supreme word of God, and it's above everything. It dictates everything you're supposed to do in life, and has the mystery of salvation. You can't be saved without knowing the Bible and things like that. Well, I went to college.
Well, that'll do
And I
it.
went to an evangelical college, and people say, what's the difference between an evangelical and a fundamentalist? I always say an evangelical is a fundamentalist with an education. So I learned some background about the Bible, how it developed, and then I went to seminary, learned even more. I've kind of had this fascination with the Bible because it was the first book I was ever encouraged to read. And I kept reading and studying it. I guess it's sort of a love story because I kept saying to myself, I want to quit you, but I can't. And I felt like despite the flaws, and I knew many of the flaws, I know many of my friends, rightfully so, have thrown it in the trash can. It's been used to promote the submission, subjection of women, to justify wars, to justify, rationalize slavery. So those are reasons to throw it in the trash can, but I think there's a lot more resources there of wisdom from an ancient people who have thought some of these big questions of life. What's the meaning of life? What's our obligation to each other? I like to say you get from the Bible what you bring to the Bible. If you're looking for hate,
You can find it.
find it. If you
And
want
there
an
are a lot
angry
of people
God,
doing
you
that.
can find an angry God. But if you bring love to it, you'll see it. It's like eating a bony fish. So you're eating this great fish and you're enjoying it, and you come across a bone. What do? You throw the fish out? No, you set the bone aside.
Good analogy.
And keep eating. And that's the way with the Bible. There's plenty of things in there that are catching your throat. and discourage you. One of my original titles I didn't use was Putting the Bible in Its Place, off the pedestal, out of the trash can, back on the table with other great works of literature.
So what's your favorite part of the Bible? Which is the one that you go back to a lot?
My favorite parts of the Bible has become the first 11 chapters of Genesis, and half the book is about that, reinterpreting creation as a parable, not expositions.
And I thought what you said about Genesis was that, that God created the world out of darkness, and that it's really sort of a wonderful example to people of how don't give up when life is dark. Don't give up. That you
That's
can
right, Lynn. Yeah.
you can create something good from the darkness you're in. Don't give up.
I think that's why the answer, it's not the most ancient, oldest part of the Bible by any means, but when they put the Bible together, our Jewish friends put it first because that's what you need to hear, that life is good.
I just thought, and
it's all good. It's a parable. It is good, it is good, it is good. You are good, we are good. We're born into goodness. We're blessed by goodness. And guess what? That's what we get to do with our lives. What God does there, God brings life out of darkness, life out of death, order out of chaos. That's our vocation.
The other thing that you have going for you is you have a little, what's it called? The Devil's.
When I retired, I needed something to do. This friend of mine said, keep writing. You've written a lot of sermons. Write something on a blog and post it. So I was in the habit of producing a sermon every Sunday. So I decided to produce a little homily, kind of a secular homily, humanist homily, 400 words or less, called The Devil's Gift.
Now, how did you come up with that title? The Devil's, it's so intriguing.
Well, I made up this
and we're going to put up how people can subscribe to it.
Well, when I retired, I had this dream that I was in my cave and the devil came to me and said, I'm so glad you're retired. I'm sick and tired of you I'm so sick and tired of you writing about love, peace, and justice. And I hope you never do that again. And then I said, the devil left, but he left a gift. I'm going to do that.
I'm going to do that. Last Sundays, I read it was about going to a picnic with all your friends of 40, 50 years and realizing that you are old.
Yeah.
And as you say, well, yes, we were getting old back in the day, but the getting part is over. There's no more getting there. We arrived. We're old. Now,
we've met the geezers and they're us.
That's right. So as we get older, I said, as I get older, I tend to, look for a larger aspect of my life that is spiritual or whatever. Now you're retired. You've done your bit as a pastor. So what do you think in your readings that sort of would help us old people sort of rethink our relation to God? Boy, that's a heavy question.
Well, it doesn't have to be to God, to each other.
Yeah.
You can't love God without loving your neighbor. That's the way to love God, show your love for God.
Oh, that's good.
I think our calling as human beings, we are chosen by God, chosen just by our understanding, to care for the earth and each other. That's our vocation. That never changes. You can express it in different ways, but Genesis 1 basically says you're created in the image of God. And what is the image of God? One who works creatively to produce something good and then enjoy it. So that's true no matter how old you are. Most people want to produce. They don't want to just sit around and consume. That's gluttony. So I think everybody in whatever situation it is, find some way that you can bring some order out of chaos, make the world a little bit more beautiful, kinder. That vocation never goes away. It might be your job, might not be. My vocation now, see this woods behind us?
Yeah.
It's full of multiflora. It's horrible. You can't get through the woods. So I'm taking it one day at a time to bring order.
You are implicating the lessons of Genesis.
Yes, and
you are out
consciously so. I'm going to make this more beautiful than it was. Get rid of the multiflora, which is very nasty to people. You can't walk through the woods with it, so I dig it out by hand. So yeah, that's my vocation. It's making this one little space a little bit orderly and more beautiful.
I think that's wonderful advice, channeled from God through you. So I would really urge people to get this wonderful book, The Bible Reexamined. Find out more about why Eve is a hero, and we'll leave.
And why Mary's not a virgin.
Yeah, that's a teaser for them to get the book.
I make the case for it.
A virgin.
I make the case for all those.
Okay, so
You might not agree with me, but I made the case.
the book is available at Four Seasons Bookstore in Shepherdstown. Is it available on Amazon?
Yes.
And available, well, of course it is, because what isn't available on Amazon?
Yeah, right.
So I want to thank you so much, Randy. This has just been delightful, and you've made my day.
Well, thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity about talking about something I love with somebody I like.
Oh, yay!
You. Known you for, man, we're getting old, aren't we?
We are old. What is it? We're not getting old anymore, Randy.
We've got there.
We are there.
We've arrived.
Thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you all for watching and listening.